Know when you work hard on your technique, leave it all adjusted, and when it comes to doing live, it just doesn't work. Very common at the time, cause you're not the only one that goes through this kind of problem, and today's video can help you a lot to solve it. In case you're not subscribed yet to this channel, you can do that right now. Here we talk about vocal technique, vocal pedagogy, vocal science and more. Everything with evidences and practice. After all, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world. So let's go. Why did the technique that you trained so hard, that was working in your studies, in your singing classes, just didn't work in the time of the real show? Well guys, being fair, there are many reasons for that, but be calm, stay there, because most of the times the culprit is this one: uncontrolled psychoacoustics pressure.
But Caio, what is psychoacoustics pressure?
One more time, stay calm, cause the name is beautiful, but the concept is actually quite simple. Often when we are singing, we don't have a real perception of our voices. That's because, in addition to hearing our voice twice, one that goes out of your mouth and goes back to your ears, and other that goes straight to your ears by tissue and bone conduction, our perceptions of the sound will depend a lot on the environment, on the space we are. Have you noticed that you have more control of your voice in some spaces, like the bathroom and the car? So, this is because being smaller spaces, the sound that goes out of your mouth comes back faster to your ears and with less sound loss. That way, you hear better and make less effort. When we are hearing ourselves well, we do not need to overload our larynx. This way, the larynx and the other systems involved in singing can work properly. That is controlling psychoacoustics pressure. Okay, Caio, you explained me what controlled psychoacoustics pressure is, and now I finally understood. But what about uncontrolled psychoacoustics pressure? What does that even mean? Oh, please tell me in the comments if you really got it, because my effort here is to facilitate your studies. So, depending on the environment we don't have a faithful perception of our voices. This can happen for many reasons, because it's an open space, because there are more instruments being played, because there are people speaking loudly in the room, among others. And that, guys, that's when the feedback phones come in. Whoa. These phones work as acoustic voice monitors. When you put them, the perception you have, it's almost like if you were singing inside a car. You hear the sound of your voice well, which already makes you lower the volume and strength. Believe me, your larynx is super thankful for that. These phones don't let you scream, even if you want to, because it becomes really uncomfortable for the ears. You know what's better? When you're using this kind of phone, you hear your voice in a much more faithful way. The sound will be carried from your mouth straight to the ears, which makes you hear your voice the way the others and the recordings do. This is particularly important, because when we are adjusting our technique, we want to know how it will sound to the others. Okay, Caio, I liked it. How can I get one? Well guys, here I can speak calmly, because I'm not sponsored by any brand. All the phones in the market are actually really good. The first model launched was Here phones. They were a real game-changing, especially for being the first phone. The next ones I will show here are more modern, so they come with some improvements, especially when it comes to the comfort and durability of the material. Audio Voicer is an interesting alternative that counts with 3 different kinds of shells. It has a shell that highlights high frequencies, one for mid frequencies and one for low frequencies. The one I'm using here is Mindvox. One of Mindvox's differentials is that it is really resistant. You can literally take it everywhere. There are no more excuses when it comes to practice singing. Mindvox has 2 models. In both of them, the shells move up and down. But in the 2.0 model, like this one in the Let's Rock version, the shells are articulated and you can choose between opening more or less. That makes the equipment very versatile because it allows you to control how much feedback you will have. Remember that some vocal techniques have more volume and others less.
But Caio, if I train with this kind of phones, won't my voice become too weak?
So, the function of the phones is to reduce the volume you're making, but maintaining the loudness others will hear after you sing in the microphone. Remember that we, contemporary, popular singers, we sing to the microphone. You choose the vocal scheme, that is, the sound, and the volume the equipment gives you. I'll give you some examples. Look at how the sounds I will make are different, but everything with controlled volume inside the phones. I repeat, I couldn't even scream, even if I want to, because it would be really uncomfortable for my ears and I would have to stop. So the solution here is to control my technique through the pressure systems to make these same adjustments but with less pressure. Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. I throw myself into the sea. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken. For anyone I'm breaking, I've been wrong. Just a small town girl, living in a lonely world. All the people proud and prayed to the neon god they made. Before I forget that. Once you have trained with these phones, it's important to ensure that by the time of the show you will have a good monitoring system at stage, because then you can reproduce exactly what you did while you were training. In the future, I can even record a video about stage monitoring. Tell me in the comments if you want to. Now tell me, you already use a feedback phone? Which one? Subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for the next videos and click on the like button if you have learned something here. If you want to schedule a class, send me a message on Instagram. And remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world!